Okay, well, let's get started. We are talking about what does it look like to go back to business, right? So the biggest question is, what do you think the biggest issues are facing skincare practices in this peri-pandemic time?
I think when we go back, the overriding thing that we need to think about is protecting ourselves and our clients from the spread of the virus. That's the number one thing.
Absolutely.
Okay. Um, I think we need to make good choices about safe practices, and I want everyone to think health first. And I'll probably say this in different ways throughout this interview, but we have to use our brains, our health science left brains, to talk
Okay.
about this thing as opposed to our desires. We all want to go back to work. We're all upset that there's no money coming in, including myself. I still own a salon clinic, okay? So I know, I mean, I'm missing that money, and my staff is. Fortunately, we got in on the PPP program, but still, it's just, you know, we're looking at 8 weeks of being paid, but what happens after that? So everybody's a little edgy, and that's understandable. And I understand people wanting to go back to work. I understand the clients wanting to come back. But this is a question I'd like you to ask yourself, and that is, would you eat a cake that hadn't finished baking?
That's
And
interesting.
why wouldn't you eat the cake that hadn't finished baking?
Because you're
Okay.
worried you're going to get sick, right?
Well, yeah, you're worried you're going to get sick. You're worried it's going to be bad. You're worried that it's not ready yet. Okay.
Right.
And we don't have the data, and I'm putting my science hat on here. We don't have the data in and enough testing to have that data to make good decisions about when we should reopen at this point. You have to remember that skincare or massage or any other wellness service that involves a body touching a body is intimate. How do you safe distance and give a facial?
Right.
I mean, that it's and dental hygienists have the same problem. Optometrists have the same problem. Anybody who's face to face with somebody or in their face, even when they're gloved up and shielded up and masked up, there's still air. Okay, this is a very contagious virus, and it is airborne.
I
Okay,
want you
so
to underline that and say that one more time for people,
this is
because
a very dangerous virus. It is not the flu or a cold.
it is
This
airborne.
virus can kill anyone at any age. Yeah, there are all kind of stuff on TV about it doesn't kill kids, it doesn't kill, people under 20. Bull. That's just crap. Okay, it can kill anybody, and it's not everybody's going to have symptoms, and that's great for the people who are. It just passes through them, or they have a built-in that their immune system is great and it responds to it right away, and they never see anything. But in the meantime, they are carrying that for weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. They are able to spread it to other people. So if you get infected, and even if you don't have any symptoms, you can give it to a client, or even if you're just kind of intimately talking to the client. We're going to talk about some of the precautions we're going to start having to take anyway. But just saliva goes everywhere when we talk. If you take micronized photography of me talking to the screen, or you took a swab off the screen, there would be my saliva on this camera screen
And
at the end of it.
and let me ask you a quick question here. Everyone is, especially in our industry, talking a lot about surfaces and cleaning surfaces, and it's always, washing off surfaces, but it's more about what's coming. It's the aspiration, it's the droplets, right, that are coming out
The
of your
droplets
mouth.
that are airborne, but if those droplets land on a surface, and
True.
somebody touches that surface with their hands, that's usually how, as opposed to right face to face. Because if you stand 6 or 8 feet away from someone and you have on a mask, there's very little chance of you getting it. But when you get up in someone's face, even if you have a mask on, because the client can't wear a mask.
Right.
Because how are you going to give a facial to somebody with a mask? Okay.
Yeah.
So they can't wear a mask. So that's one side already. Now you do have a mag lamp, and that's helpful. Okay. you might have a face shield on top of your mask, and that's what I'm going to recommend when we do go back. When it's safe to go back, that's what I'm going to recommend. But the client has nothing to, they're naked basically as far as PPE. They don't
Right.
have any.
They don't have
protective-
choices.
They don't have choices. Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So before we get
So-
too much
Mhm.
down the road into like PPE and protective things, one of the questions, the big picture question is, who should skincare professionals or beauty professionals be listening to for the most accurate and current information? Because there's a lot out there, right?
Right. Well, definitely the CDC,
Okay.
the NIH, anybody from those two organizations, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, they are excellent people. Dr. Fauci was around. I was in graduate school studying health during the original AIDS crisis. Okay.
Wow.
And Dr. Fauci was involved very much in the virology of the AIDS epidemic back in the late 80s.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's been a hero of mine forever. And Dr. Birx is very well qualified. So those two. But, okay, do not listen to celebrities or politicians or talk show hosts because they don't know anything. Okay, they are not doctors. They are not scientists. I'm not an MD, but I know a lot about science because I have a PhD in health sciences. So I know a lot about epidemiology. That's part of a lot of epidemiologists are not MDs, they're PhDs. But those are the people they understand the statistics, they understand the graphs, they understand the plateau
science.
And the science and the wave of the charts. They understand all that, and they are able to come up with the best suggestions. So that's who I would listen to, and I would not listen to politicians.
So check your sources, right? Check your sources.
And also, why would you eat a cake that hadn't finished baking? Okay, why would you do that? So, and that's where we are right now. Okay, and I'm a little appalled that Georgia is supposed to open this Friday. I don't know when this is going to air, but this is the 22nd. This is Earth Day, yay! Okay, but I'm a little appalled that Georgia is opening this soon. And I watched an interview with Anderson Cooper last night with a very, very intelligent lady from Georgia who was a salon owner. And she said, I'm not opening. And she said, a lot of people I'm talking to aren't opening because we don't want to endanger ourselves. You might have money coming in, but money ain't any good if you're dead, okay?
Right.
Or your client is dead, or your client's kid is dead,
Yeah.
because something got spread that we weren't ready to do yet, okay? And that's the way I feel about it right now. We are not ready. We are not there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs to take like a month, I think, and let's reevaluate in a month.
And
we'll
especially
know more about it.
if you don't have to jump in, if you don't have to do it, why do it? I mean, why do it? Protect yourself, your family, your clients. Don't do it.
I mean, it's not, you're venturing out in an unknown area. We don't know anything. We don't know. I mean, this is a new thing. We don't know what this virus does. And a virus can't vote, okay?
Yeah.
So all of these politicians that are trying to manipulate things around the virus doesn't care, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The virus doesn't care, okay? So I think we really need to think. Like I said, nobody wants this over with more than me. I think most of it, I can't think of anybody who doesn't want to go back to work.
So what do you say? So sorry to interrupt you, but what do you say to those estheticians or hairstylists or manicurists who say, I don't have money. I don't want to lose my practice because I need to make money. I need to pay my rent. I need to pay my lease on my space. What do you say to them? What advice can you give them right now?
That's an excellent question. And certainly I feel for those people. And I think that they need to apply for unemployment. They have all sorts of programs set up. They just passed another $400 billion allotment yesterday to pay for unemployment. And everybody's going to get the stimulus check, but that's limited because it's once. You
Right.
know, I mean, they need to look into unemployment until this is over, and they've opened it up for 1099 people and people who are entrepreneurs and you know,
Gig workers. Yeah.
sole
Independent
practitioners, right?
workers.
So that's good. So definitely listen to Dr. Fauci, listen to CDC.
Mhm.
CDC has a website on coronavirus. Any of the better medical schools, including Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins does a lot of research in that. The Mayo Clinic, you know, anybody like that at Ochsner. But look for a university credential. You know, don't take advice from a celebrity. They're actors. They're
Okay.
not doctors. Okay, and that's a very easy thing for people to do because they're convincing and we feel like we know them already. Politicians are, you know, they have their own agendas, and you know, I will have to say, and I don't want to paint myself into a political corner here, but I think that Governor Cuomo has done an amazing job,
Amazing job.
and
Yeah.
and he gets along with both parties. Okay,
Mhm.
but if you listen to his dailies, I mean, he's right in the middle of it. So I think he has good information. He has good people with input too. So that's my answer to that. But don't listen to politicians or talk show hosts.
All right, you heard it right there from Mark.
Yeah.
Dr. Mark Lees speaks. All right, so now kind of getting into what is that day-to-day practice going to look like? What
Yeah.
should they be doing once they do go back to practice? Can you kind of talk us through what that might look like from the minute that the client enters the spa or the salon?